Cardiff City 1, Chelsea 3. Cardiff City 1, Chelsea 3. Goals from Alejandro Garnacho. And then his goal was canceled out by Turnbull. And Neto then scored late in the game, I believe in the 82nd minute or so, to make it 2-1. And in injury time, Garnacho made it safe with his second goal of the day, make it 3-1. Obviously, if you watch the game, you know this was nothing like a 3-1 game. It was nothing like the routine win that we had all hoped that it would be. I mean, it was it was a fight. It was a drag. I wouldn't say that we didn't play well, but I'll say that as a team, the team just did not have the attacking bite. That's the phrase. This team lacked the attacking bite for the entire first half. Definitely for the entire first half, which then led to halftime subs, which brought on Joao Pedro, who had an assist for Garnacho's second goal, and then also brought on Garnacho as well. Two of them came on at halftime, and then later Neto came on later in the second half. And that was pretty much the difference in the game, because in the first half, guys, we were not playing. We didn't look good. We weren't playing well. We were not playing well. And in fact, in fairness to Cardiff, Cardiff City played better than Chelsea. They definitely played much better than us in the first half. And if not for a brilliant save by Philip Jorgensen late in the first half off a deflected shot. I mean, he had to get down quickly and react even quicker to save the ball into corner kick, and that pretty much kept the score at 0-0 going in at halftime. Guy did have one chance in the first half. I believe it was a left-footed strike that their goalie saved with his foot. But that was pretty much all she wrote for Chelsea. I mean, for me, the most disappointing player for me was Boanote. Boanote was the most disappointing player for me in the first half. He was a liability. I wouldn't call him a ghost. A ghost would be a player that's just giving you nothing. He was a player that was pretty much almost like he was playing for the other team. He just kept, turning the ball over. He was just not up to the pace. And I did listen to, Maresca's post game, remarks, and he's basically said that, part of the reason he obviously gave these players a pass, he's basically saying that it's because they are pretty much, rusty. They just haven't played a lot, so just getting their minds up to the speed and the overall, awareness of where their, teammates are and what's happening around them. They're just pretty much like they were half a step, behind, and it did show for Barnetta, because in the first half he was just poor. And then in the second half, it took him about maybe like 5 minutes. 5 minutes after halftime, he was he began to grow into the game and actually had the assist for Garnacho's first goal. I think he may have almost had another assist that was saved. He began to kind of play better. But I believe at that point in time we're up 1-0, and Maresca really then tried to sort of make the game safe by removing Boanote and I think Gittins, and he brought on Gusto in midfield, and Neto, and that was pretty much with the idea of giving us more control in midfield, and it was working. It was working for the most part, right? It was working for the most part. But again, when you only win in 1-0, all it takes is just one lapse of concentration, and that's pretty much what happened, which led to Turnbull's goal. Like honestly, I haven't gone back to rewatch their goal, to rewatch Turnbull's goal, but it looked bad. It really looked bad because Turnbull was literally wide open. He was unmarked, and it gave me flashbacks of Skamaka's goal against us away at Atalanta FC, a game that we lost 2-1. And he was just in that game he was wide. He was unmarked. The center back basically lost him. It was in that game. It was Fofana that basically lost his man, and he was unmarked at the back of the post and knotted it in. This one, Turnbull was literally in between Tosin and Badashila. I haven't gone back to that's the positioning that he found himself. In fairness, he was coming. He did make his run from midfield, but he should have been picked up, right? This is like a routine play, a routine cross, just a routine cross into the box to a player making a run from midfield that with our defenders who should have been aware and alert to what is coming at them and pick up the free man that's coming from midfield, and they lost focus of the player coming from midfield, and he nodded the ball in. And that tied the game, I believe, around the 74th or 75th minute, right? It was fairly late in the game. At that point in time, it looked like the game might have been on its way heading to extra time until Neto then made the difference and scored the winning goal with a very nice low grounded shot. Although in fairness, there was a bit of deflection, which actually helped Neto's goal to actually steer the ball slightly away from their goalie and into the far corner, and that pretty much made it 2-1. At that point in time, with Caicedo in midfield, with Gusto in midfield, and Santos in midfield, who obviously you already know, Caicedo is who he is. He's always going to be the midfield boss. But I do want to give credit to Santos. I was actually impressed with his work rates in today's game. He was really pretty much up and down the field and just ran all day. Credit to him. Josh played at right back. This wasn't Josh's best game. We've seen Josh play well against stronger teams. And with all due respect to Cardiff City, these even though they're on top of the league, but they're on top of League One. So we have seen Josh play much better in against Champions League teams, against Premier League teams, And so today he had an off and on game. He struggled a bit. Jarrell, Heto at left back actually did fairly well. It was a good way for him to bounce back. If you all remember, the last time that we saw Heto was his disastrous performance away against Carabao FC in Champions League. Although in fairness to him, he had played in centre back on that day, which was out of his normal left back spot. and he was just awful and cost us 2 goals, and we drew that game 2-2. So, but in today's game, he seemed more comfortable in his natural role, and played well. I mean, I didn't have any issues with him. Barashil and Tosin, again, apart from the goal that we considered, I feel like they did okay. Jurgensen was actually okay. He was fairly active. I was happy to see him go out and be more aggressive towards the area balls than he usually is, right? And up front we had Gui. Gui did not help himself in this game. Gui didn't help himself, and he got yanked at halftime. Pedro came on. He had a chance. Could have scored 1 goal. Late in the game, he didn't really get many chances. But I mean, we know what he can do, so I'm not gonna fault him too much. But yeah, Garnacho. I mean, Garnacho is beginning to heat up, because you guys have seen what he brings to the team. What he brings to the team is direct running into the box, and he's a player that can be hard to attract, because it's somehow easier, right? It's a bit easier to track a player that likes to be on the ball and dribble and stuff like that, than it is for a player that loves to basically make runs off the ball and in behind the defense line. And he pretty much had a lot of joy in his 45 minutes of display today, and that led to his man of the match. Our next game is on Saturday, early game against Newcastle away at St. James Park. Again, you guys know that has not been a happy hunting ground for us. It's been a while since we last won over there, and so we are hoping that with Caicedo back, with Palmer back, with pretty much our strongest team back, we should hopefully knock on wood, 3 points away at St. James Park on Saturday. How do you guys feel about today's result? Please like this video, share this video, and subscribe to my channel. God bless you guys. Please, peace.